What if I told you that stupidity isn't just the absence of intelligence, but something far more dangerous? A force that can turn brilliant minds into tools of destruction. What if the greatest threat to civilization isn't evil people doing evil things, but ordinary people who have simply stopped thinking? Picture this. A respected scientist begins to spread dangerous misinformation. A kind teacher starts promoting harmful ideologies. A loving parent makes choices that hurt their own children. These aren't villains. They're intelligent, well-meaning people who've fallen victim to what Dietrich Bonhoeffer called the power of stupidity. Bonhoeffer was a German theologian and philosopher who watched his country crumble under Nazi rule. From his prison cell, awaiting execution, he wrote one of the most chilling insights of the 20th century. Stupidity is a more dangerous enemy of the good than malice. He realized that evil can be confronted, argued with, exposed, but stupidity, real, collective, moral stupidity, is almost impossible to fight because it believes it's doing good. Evil causes guilt and resistance. Stupidity feels righteous, and that makes it nearly untouchable. Bonhoeffer wasn't talking about IQ or education. He was describing something deeper, what we might now call functional stupidity, a condition where intelligent people stop thinking critically because doing so is inconvenient, risky, or exhausting. He noticed that many of the people supporting Hitler were educated, cultured, and religious. Professors, doctors, clergy. They weren't monsters. They were people who surrendered their ability to think for themselves. He wrote, "Neither protest nor force can do anything here. Reasons fall on deaf ears." In conversation, he said, "It feels as though you're not speaking to a person at all, but to slogans that have taken control of them." Sound familiar? Modern psychology explains exactly how this happens. In the 1950s, psychologist Leon Festinger discovered cognitive dissonance, the brain's defense mechanism that rejects information that threatens our beliefs. And Solomon Asch showed that 75% of people will agree with a group's wrong answer rather than stand alone with the truth. Bonhoeffer understood this decades earlier. He saw that stupidity isn't born inside individuals, it spreads through groups. When people feel uncertain or afraid, they stop thinking independently and cling to the comfort of belonging. The system rewards obedience, not reflection. Those in power don't even have to censor ideas. They just create conditions where thinking critically becomes too costly. Think about it. Our economic and social systems constantly push us toward intellectual shortcuts. Social media profits when we react emotionally, not thoughtfully. News outlets get more clicks from outrage than from nuance. Politicians win more votes with slogans than with complex truth. And so we adapt. We scroll, react, repeat. We trade understanding for efficiency. The result? A society of intelligent individuals acting collectively stupid. Bonhoeffer called this surrender of thought the greatest moral failure, because once people stop thinking, they stop being fully human. They become instruments, puppets pulled by whatever force happens to be strongest. The terrifying part is, it feels good. Stupidity feels like certainty. It feels like belonging. It feels like clarity in a confusing world. That's why smart people fall for it. Psychologist Keith Stanovich later called this disrationalia, the ability to be highly intelligent yet think irrationally. Because intelligence measures mental horsepower, while rationality measures whether you actually steer. When life feels chaotic, our brains crave simplicity. We look for authority figures who promise order. We follow groups that make us feel safe, and in that comfort, we stop asking questions. Bonhoeffer saw it in 1930s Germany. We see it now on every screen. False information spreads 6 times faster than truth online, according to MIT researchers. Why? Because falsehoods are emotionally satisfying. They tell us what we already want to believe. The algorithm doesn't care what's true. It only cares what keeps us scrolling. The more we react, the less we reflect. And soon, we aren't thinking at all, we're performing. Bonhoeffer's warning was never just about Nazi Germany. It was about human nature. He said stupidity is not a psychological defect, it's a sociological disease. That means it grows in groups, in institutions, in nations. It thrives wherever independent thinking is punished or inconvenient. Today, that might look like workplaces that reward silence over honesty, political movements that punish nuance, or online mobs that demand loyalty over truth. Every time we choose comfort over courage, the system grows stronger. So how do we fight back? Bonhoeffer believed the cure for stupidity wasn't education or argument, it was moral courage. The willingness to think even when it hurts. What he called costly grace. Today, psychologists call it intellectual humility. The ability to say, I might be wrong. Here's how to practice it. Seek out disagreement. Read or listen to someone who challenges your worldview, not to change your mind, but to test your beliefs. Practice productive ignorance. When you're certain about something, ask yourself, what evidence would change my mind? If you can't think of any, that's a red flag. Slow down your sharing. Before posting or reacting online, take 60 seconds to verify. 1 minute of thought can break hours of manipulation. And finally, embrace the phrase, I don't know. In a world that rewards loud certainty, quiet honesty is an act of rebellion. But we also need more than individual action. We need systems that make truth easier, not harder. Social media platforms should disclose how their algorithms shape our thinking. Schools should teach media literacy as a survival skill. Societies should reduce the stress that keeps people too busy or scared to think. Because when people are exhausted, debt-ridden, or overwhelmed, stupidity feels like relief. Bonhoeffer couldn't have imagined algorithms or deep fakes, but he would have recognized their effect. They are new tools serving an old problem, the surrender of thought. And yet, there's hope. If stupidity is partly chosen, it can also be rejected. If it's partly structural, it can be redesigned. If it grows through fear, it can be starved by courage. The moment you pause to question, the spell weakens. The moment you choose curiosity over certainty, you're resisting. Bonhoeffer was executed in 1945, weeks before Germany surrendered. His last words reportedly were, "This is the end for me, the beginning of life." He died defending not just truth, but the act of thinking itself. His question still echoes today. Who stands fast? Who keeps thinking when everyone else has stopped? The answer isn't found in higher IQ or more degrees. It's found in the daily decision to stay curious, to ask, to doubt, to reflect. Thinking is hard, uncomfortable, and it hurts our pride, but it's the price of remaining human. In a world that profits from our distraction and our certainty, Choosing to think independently is the most radical act left. So here's my challenge to you. This week, take one belief you hold strongly and spend 30 minutes researching the best arguments against it. If it survives, you'll hold it with more confidence. If it doesn't, you'll gain something far more valuable: clarity. Bonhoeffer's legacy reminds us that danger isn't stupidity itself, it's believing we're immune to it. The price of intellectual freedom is eternal vigilance, not against others, but against the moment we stop thinking when thinking becomes hard. So tell me, what belief are you willing to question this week? Because every time you choose curiosity over comfort and reflection over reaction, you're defending something sacred: human wisdom itself.